Greetings and welcome to The End. Last week, this week, and next week, the podcast companion to The End, the weekly newsletter that shines a light back on audio fiction shows when they've reached the finale of a season or the conclusion of the series. I am your host and the curator of The End, Evo Terra. Let's get into it, shall we?
Last week.
The most recent issue of The End, the 26th, highlighted 11 shows in the season finales and finish series section, and 3 of them wrapped in the last week. The Unseen World, a podcast musical, is, not surprisingly, a dramatized musical sci-fi show from Ira Marlowe that posted its season 1 finale yesterday. Wow. There are 9 episodes, and it'll take you almost 2 hours to complete the first season. The Occult Adventures of Norman P. Blank, the dramatized urban fantasy comedy from Laughing Skull Audio, posted its season 1 finale on the last day of last month. It'll take you almost 5.5 hours to complete all 12 episodes of the first season. Superman, Son of El, the unauthorized biography of Clark Kent, a narrated superhero tale from Isaac Bluefoot, released the second season finale last week as well. A little over 15 hours is what you'll spend listening to the 32 episodes of both seasons.
This week.
With every issue, I make 2 personal recommendations for great audio fiction I personally love. This week, I'm going a few years back in the archive. My first recommendation is for Spines, a narrated horror show from Zoom Doom Stories. But don't be put off by narrated. It is a rich soundscape. Here's the trailer for Spines.
Imagine a tree. Not a realistic one, but a jagged, impressionistic metal sculpture in the shape of a tree. It's maybe 10 or 12 feet tall, the trunk 6 inches in diameter, the branches spindly and leafless. Now imagine that instead of being a rusty brown or a shiny painted color, the surface of the tree is the light pinkish beige of pale skin. Got it? Okay. Now imagine touching the sculpture. It should be about the same temperature as the night air, and it should be the rigid texture of iron or plastic, or maybe ceramic. What it shouldn't do is breathe. It shouldn't feel soft and yielding and warm to the touch. It shouldn't sweat or have pores or body hair. But of course, this one does. And that's when I know it has to be Carson.
Spines is a complete series with 24 episodes across 3 seasons. That's just over 9 hours of creepy stuff. Next is Terms, a dramatized thriller from Airship. It's an extremely well-produced political thriller that is way too familiar with us today. Predictive, some might say. Here's the trailer from way back in 2016.
They tried to marginalize us, to tell us our America was a thing of the past. But tonight, I will become the next president of the United States. Tonight, we take this country back.
Coming this Sunday from Spoke Media and Wondery.
That man will destroy the country on day 1.
All of you kept your mouth shut during the primary until it was too late. You got exactly what you deserved with Dunwalk.
America has voted in the most controversial president in U.S. history, Charles Dunwalk.
The enemy is not at the gates. The enemy is all around you. And it's hard to make the right decisions when facing all of this chaos. But it's okay. It's going to be okay because I'm willing to make those hard decisions.
And outgoing President Oliver Pierce makes a choice that will have historic and possibly catastrophic consequences.
They meant outside threats, Oliver. What we're talking about is treason.
No, I'm talking about exploiting certain procedures that have been laid out in...
We don't all have your gift for semantics, all right? The American people will see it as treason. World leaders will see it as treason. You willing to sacrifice your own vice president?
There's no turning back once this starts, and I need to know if you're in.
Terms, a new serialized audio drama. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Wondery.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I cannot let that man become president.
Terms is a complete story with 13 episodes that will last you just over 4 hours.
Next week.
The latest issue of The End lists one audio fiction show returning with a new season coming soon, and it starts next week. Folklore, a narrated horror from the Works and Tin Can Audio, starts its second season this coming Sunday, March the 5th. You can catch up with the prior 14 episodes in about 3.5 hours. And that's all for this episode of The End last week, this week, and next week. For other audio fiction shows featured, highlighted, and coming soon that were included in the 26th issue of The End, including links to listen to the shows mentioned in this episode, please visit theend.fyi. I'm Evo Terra. Thanks for listening.